Welcome to episode number 29. I'm CJ Wellerman. Thank you for joining us. This week we look at how the Hindutva lobby is infiltrating mainstream political and civic spaces in the United States, therefore posing an existential threat to democracy and religious minorities. But first, a quick reminder to click on the subscribe button below so you don't miss out on any future episodes. Now let's get into it. Hindu nationalist groups, which carry the Hindutva virus, have worked their way into the corridors of American political power to advance their genocidal agenda and the political interests of India's ruling party, the BJP. These Hindutva groups have been chipping away at American politicians for years, but during the Trump presidency, they were able to successfully synchronize Hindu nationalism with their racist white Christian nationalist cousins in the United States. In 2019, 50,000 pro-Trump Indian Americans showed up in Houston, Texas to welcome the Hindutva godfather, aka Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Roll a clip. Somehow most Americans were unaware Modi was banned from entering the United States in 2005 because of the role he played in inciting the mass murder of 2,000 Muslims in Gujarat 3 years earlier. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the Hindutva ideology, let me explain. Wait, better yet, let's have Dr. Mihir Meghani do it, given it's his manifesto that forms the ideological DNA for BJP, Modi and Hindu nationalism writ large. In defining the Hindutva ideology, Dr. Meghani calls India the land of Hindus, suggesting Muslims, Christians and Sikhs be forced to leave while falsely claiming the Muslim presence in India is the outcome of Islamic invasions, which of course is fundamentally false. He also glorifies the destruction of the ancient Babri Mosque by Hindu nationalists in 1992, which was organised in advance by BJP and the country's number one Hindutva organisation, the RSS. Roll a clip.
But before the ceremony could start, the 2 lakh strong crowd broke through police cordons. They used sledgehammers to knock down the 3 domes of the mosque and then tore at the bricks with their bare hands until the building was completely destroyed. Eyewitnesses say hundreds of policemen stood by and watched.
You see, Modi was a full-time worker for the RSS until it assigned him to the BJP, where he climbed to General Secretary before becoming the Chief Minister for Gujarat in 2001 and eventually leader of the country in 2014. Now, the number one thing you need to know about RSS is that its ideology is inspired by European fascist movements of the previous century, including Adolf Hitler's Nazi Party. In fact, RSS founders vowed to do to Muslims in India what the Nazis did to Jews in Europe during the Holocaust. Even today, Hitler paraphernalia is popular among RSS members and its supporters in India, with everything from t-shirts to restaurants bearing the Führer's name and the Nazi swastika. So how does RSS spread its tentacles into the United States? Well, it essentially operates as a parent organisation to an array of Hindutva groups including HSS and VHP respectively. Both organisations have established branches throughout the United States, despite VHP being identified by the CIA as a militant religious outfit, one guilty of carrying out terrorist attacks and political assassinations. Here's VHP members chanting genocidal slogans towards Muslims in Tripura last month. Play. And here's those same members setting fire to 17 mosques and dozens of Muslim-owned properties. Watch. I mean, the double standard could not be more obvious. How is it that members of Islamic political organisations such as Hamas and Hezbollah are banned from entering the United States, while members of extremist Hindu organisations are allowed to set up branch offices freely throughout the country? Well, it's because the US and other Western democracies are asleep to the Hindutva threat, with many Americans fooled into believing Hindu nationalist groups represent the religion of Hinduism, despite Hindutva organisations openly admitting their ideology bears little resemblance to Hinduism. So this is what we are dealing with. Nazi-inspired Hindutva groups infiltrating mainstream American institutions and organisations including school boards, city assemblies and even police departments. Watch my friend Peter Friedrich scold the city of Irving, Texas after the city police department welcomed and praised HSS. Go.
2 weeks ago, when the city of Troy chose to platform and praise the HSS, How could you have known that the HSS is the international wing of the RSS, a quite literally Nazi-inspired paramilitary in India? How could you have known that many HSS members in America were previously RSS members in India? How could you have known that the HSS frequently hosts RSS officials from India to tour and inspect its units in America? How could you have known that the HSS routinely sends its members to attend RSS training camps in India? How could you have known that the RSS promotes Hindu nationalism, believes India should be declared a theocratic Hindu nation where non-Hindus are assimilated or eliminated?
Worse, the acting US ambassador to India held a meeting and photo op with the chief of RSS in September, which signals a normalization and acceptance of Hindu fascism within the US government. Even social media giants are asleep to the threat Hindutva groups pose minorities and democracy, with Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey recently donating $2.5 million for coronavirus relief to Sewa International, which is an RSS affiliate. But even more worrying is how the US government handed out nearly $1 million in COVID stimulus money to 5 organizations with ties to Hindu supremacist groups, including VHP. Yes, VHP, the same organization the CIA has designated a militant religious group, and the same group that is carrying out a wave of terror against Muslims today in Tripura, India. A report reveals how Hindu nationalist groups, including HSS and VHP, have funneled millions of dollars to their counterparts in India during the past 2 decades. This money lands into the wallets of BJP political leaders who have legislated discriminatory policies against religious minorities and brought Muslims to the brink of genocide. More to the point, these Hindutva groups are now using their money to directly fund BJP-friendly political candidates in the United States, and with some success. Federal Election Commission filings revealed top executives within RSS funded the first congressional campaign of Tulsi Gabbard, who ran for president 2 years ago. Last year I unearthed secret recordings of Gabbard's spiritual advisor referring to Muslims as dogs and Islam as a religion of bullshit. Play the clip.
And it's so low class. They're teaching you so Mickey Mouse. What happened? It's so violent. They're demons who are going, la 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 la. Bullshit. There's only one reason why Pakistan has not dropped atom bombs in India, and that's because there's 200 million Muslims still in India. If those Muslims leave, immediate boom. Because they're completely allowed to kill any infidels. Any infidel, anyone who doesn't worship God the way they worship God, you can blow them up. Slit their throats, doesn't matter, no problem, you're doing God's service.
Yeah, I mean, no wonder the Hindutva lobby refers to Gabbard as their American mascot. These organizations are now pressuring school boards throughout America into teaching a pro-Hindutva agenda or narrative, having recently lobbied the California School Board to describe the area spanning Pakistan, India and Bangladesh as India rather than South Asia. These efforts must be challenged because Hindu nationalist groups are antithetical to American values, including democracy, equality, plurality and free speech, as evident in the way these Hindutva radicals sent a barrage of rape and death threats to journalists and academics who participated in a public discussion on the Hindutva ideology. For these reasons, we must reach out to American lawmakers at all levels, from city boards to state assemblies to the US Congress, and warn them of the threat Hindu nationalist groups pose to democracy and religious minorities. Let's do this now. Well, that's a wrap for this week. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please like and subscribe to this channel and help spread the word with your friends and family on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. And we kindly ask you please support this endeavor by becoming a member of this show at patreon.com/CJWellerman. We can't produce, sustain and grow this show without your help, and we offer exclusive benefits to those who do. But for now, good night, good morning or good day, wherever you are, and stay blessed.